Hello everybody. In this series of a few videos, this is the first video. I want to share my experiences of growing tomatoes, and I'll show you how to grow them successfully and how to get very high yields and healthy crops from this fantastic hobby. Tomato is the 8th biggest commercial crop in the world, as you know or might know. Heavily used in countless dishes and used as a ketchup and eaten raw as well. In 2015, 8.5 billion worth of tomatoes were exported by top 15 producers around the world. And the good thing is that you can grow tomatoes at home as well, and you can make some money too. And besides, it is a great fun too, and I'm here to help you with my experience. I started growing tomatoes around 10 years ago as a hobby, also to help myself cope with daily stresses of life, and indeed it did help. I also make a very decent amount of money every year from my hobbies, including gardening. My profit is not in billions though. However, the total profit over the period is more than what most people can think or guess. And I'm very glad that I did it. During this period of 10 years, I have learned a lot. I'll not say that I have mastered the techniques, because sky is the limit when it comes to learning. However, I will say that I'm extremely successful. I give away tons of tomatoes each year. I sell them. I freeze a lot and I store a lot for winter. I sell plants too, and I sell a lot of them. When I started, I read a lot on the internet, and all I can say that there is a lot on the internet that is crap and will not work in every situation, or will not work in your situation. But there are things that worth reading and spending time and money. I also did a lot of experiments. Some were successful and some were not so much. Some were disasters. I'll practically go through most of the experiments that I did, and I can promise that you'll find these experiments very interesting. So this video is about water quality, the quality of water that you use in your garden. And to become successful in every aspect of life, not only as a gardener, you'll need a few things. One is passion, and the second is patience. And to become a successful grower, you also need to wake up that little scientist within you. So you'll have to think like a researcher. You will have to keep a record of what you're doing. You have to think what are the factors that affect plant growth, root growth. You have to know how to get highest yields, what nutrients a tomato plant need, and in what quantities, what variety grows best in your area. You have to think about water quality. You have to think about soil. You have to know the concepts of pH. You have to know the pH of your soil. You have to know about fertilizers. You have to know correct temperature and humidity requirements. If you are competing for the best, then you have to pay attention to every single detail. So first of all, water, quality of water. Now, you do not have to do this, but I prefer to use rainwater for any of my plants. I have a big rainwater tank outside my house, which is almost always full, as we have a lot of rain where I live, and I can understand that not everyone can have the same luxury. However, let me tell you a few things. The tap water has a few things that may not be helpful for your plants. One is added chlorine. Chlorine is a highly efficient disinfectant, and it is added to public water supplies to kill disease causing pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and protozoans that commonly grow in water supply reservoirs and in supply lines and in storage tanks. At the same time, it has every ability to kill beneficial bacteria and microorganisms in your soil. These bacteria fertile your soil naturally. Such bacteria fix nitrogen in your soil, and for those who don't know, nitrogen fixing bacteria are microorganisms capable of transforming atmospheric nitrogen into fixed nitrogen, that is inorganic organic compounds that are usable by plants. So More than 90% of all nitrogen fixation is affected by these bacteria, which thus play an important role in nitrogen cycle. And I don't know how many of you know about nitrogen cycle, but it is not difficult to understand that chlorine can kill these bacteria and thus can make your soil sort of not ideal for plants. You can still grow plants. You may not have healthy plants and good yields. Around 78% of air is composed of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and less than 1% of other gases. Depending upon what area you live in, rainwater can possibly have nitrogen that can be used by plants. Nitrogen as a nitrogen molecule cannot be used by plants directly. A nitrogen molecule has 3 strong covalent bonds which are very difficult to break. However, extremely high voltages as a result of lightning during the rainfall can break these bonds, and nitrogen atoms can react with atmospheric oxygen to form nitrogen oxide and other compounds that can be used by plants. These compounds then mix with raindrops and fall to earth, which can be used by plants. The second problem is that in many Western countries, the authorities add fluoride, unfortunately, in drinking water, and this includes the country that I live in. They say that it is helpful in reducing tooth decay. However, the use of fluoride is controversial, and many scientists believe that it is doing more harm than good. Many believe that fluoride either plays a role in calcium absorption or somehow disturbs calcium metabolism in humans and in plants. So fluoride is known to cause or play a vital role in crippling conditions in human beings like ankylosing spondylitis and spondylosis. Both are crippling and painful types of arthritis. There is a lot of research going on about harmful effects of fluoride. It is fair to assume that fluoride in tap water can also deprive plants of calcium, and tomato plants need a very high quantity of calcium. So these are some of the reasons that make me use rainwater for my plants, and I'm sure that it does play a role in the health of the plants and also on the yields. In next video, I'll show you an experiment to explain the effect of pH of water on the plant growth and root generation. Bye till then, and thanks for watching.